What's up, Internet? Welcome once again to the Free-to-Play cast brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm Mike Byrne, your host, and this is episode 369, our first one of 2021. We're back. We hope you had wonderful holidays. We hope you had wonderful Happy New Year celebration. Boy, I really just cut the music there. I didn't even, fade it down. I was just turn off music. I'll work on that. It's the first week back. But we're going to make our 2021 predictions. We've got new titles. We've got a lot more to talk about. Joining me to go through all of it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good thing we got all this to talk about because absolutely nothing else happened in the world of news this last week.
And Discord decided to make you an absolute mosaic of pixels. We kind of waited a little bit to see if Discord would behave, and maybe it's not going to. Hell, maybe Twitch won't even behave. It's been a rough day or two for Twitch and anybody on online services. DDoS is fun.
Whatever.
Also,
you're not watching this. You don't want to see my face. Just listen. Just turn on your headset and listen.
Also on the line, Ms. Quinlan Bowers. What's up, Q?
I woke up with Gangster's Paradise stuck in my head, and now I have a sea shanty stuck in my head.
That is an eclectic swing in the music from one side to the other.
And I know there's a reason the first one was stuck in my head, but I have no idea what it was. And it's bugging me.
Twitch is not behaving. I'm sorry. There's not much I can do about Twitch. Twitch has been a DDoS nightmare for the last day and a half now. So I can't do much there. Just keep refreshing, doing your thing on your side there. But before we get started, Jason, this time I have a box.
You said that. You have a box. All right. I feel not special today.
Right here.
So I'm the only one who's left out.
This came on Monday of this week. And my wife was like, "Oh, cool. What is it?" And I was like, "I don't know. We'll open it Friday." "What do you mean Friday? I want to know what it is." I was like, "No, I'm going to do it on the cast." Now, to be fair, I do, assuming that the box is not just hey, this is a leftover box, let's use it for shipping. I do know what's in here because the box clearly says what it is. But, again, it could be they just had extra boxes and used this. So let's take this is from Perfect World Entertainment. So I'm going to move my mic here a little bit and open this.
I got my dad's Christmas card today. So I got something too, but I'm not showing it to you guys.
All right, so it is what it says it is. There's a little card in here. Happy holidays from the Perfect World team. As you continue to bring your work into your home, here's a little something to keep your drinks cold so that you can it on your adventures. We truly appreciate your dedication and cooperation throughout this year. Inside, you will find stickers to help add some flair. All right.
Stickers help you stay hydrated. Just lick them right off.
Water-flavored sticker. That's awesome. All right, so here's the stickers. We got Neverwinter, Torchlight 3, Remnant from the Ashes, and Star Trek Online. Pretty nice stickers. They're 2x2s.
Gonna bling out your PC now?
Not gonna bling out my PC.
Okay.
But might bling out this little bad boy.
Here.
They have sent a mini refrigerator.
Hey, you might want to keep that on there because Twitch is totally derped out for me here. Let's see if it's okay. All right, maybe it's fine. No, it's not fine.
Yeah, Twitch is a
I
mess.
have no idea if they can see us as long as the recording works.
Yeah, the recording will be fine. That's local. So not only do we have the standard power cable, but they also threw in a car adapter power cable. It goes into a cigarette lighter just in case I want to take this guy. And here's something weird. On the back, there's an on-off switch that has off in the middle, cool on the bottom, and heat on the cool on the top and heat on the bottom.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool.
So there's a little.
This beats the water bottle that the Mabinogi people sent me.
Yeah. I had said in chat to you guys when I told you I had a box, I was like, I think this might be one of the more useful things that a company has ever sent me. But it's also one of the things that I would never, ever have thought a company would have sent me.
Yeah, Yeah.
Because this is probably pretty cheap. That seems like it's not. Not cheap. But it's
They
pretty
run
quality, but-
somewhere between. I think they run about $70 if you were to
Yeah,
buy one.
this was
for
not
yourself.
$70.
And it does
on
do both. I mean, it's push to the cool position, green indicator light up, unit starts to chill up, lowest temperature is 18 to 20 Celsius. Push the heat to switch position, red indicator lights up, unit starts to heat. Highest temperature can be 50 to 60 Celsius. So,
Wow,
I can keep things cold or warm.
not bad.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. That was very thoughtful. Like, I never would have been like, hey, for our next promotion, let's send out mini fridges. You know, like, there we go.
Well, I mean, it's perfect world. I think they do make a good deal of money. So
A little bit.
Well, every company does make enough they can send out, a $100 prize if they wanted, but whatever.
So thank you to Perfect World Entertainment and my mini fridge / heater. Now I don't have to buy the KF console to keep my chicken warm while I'm gaming.
I'm still just so baffled by that because did they account for the grease?
If you look in one of the videos, the drawer actually has like a plastic inlay that you could take out, so your chicken goes in that. And
it just kind of freaks me out. Right.
All right, let's slide over and get started with the news. Well, I say news, but we're actually going to start with our 2021 predictions. Now, Jason has put up the article that he typically does every year. He has made his, which he'll share as we go through them. And then, as always, Q and I will make ours. All the other hosts, Troy, Robin, Wilfredo, Zach, any of them that want to chime in with theirs can get their predictions to Jason.
I forgot to get those beforehand. We did last year.
Yeah. I think Zach prepped them ahead of time before the show. Didn't have time to do it this year. That's all right. So we'll buzz through last year's, Jason, just to see where everybody finished. If you're lazy and you don't want to read, we have also put this together as a video. You can find that on our YouTube channel or right on mmobomb.com. It is right in the marquee banner, so you don't even have to scroll down. Just you can click on it in our banner and watch it there. But Jason, so far, before we get to the predictions for this year, give us a little recap. How did everybody finish last year?
As usual, I was the best. But I kind of tied with other people for the best, especially because it should be scored as I thought it should be scored, unlike how you thought it should be scored, which is what matters. So, predictions for last year, number 1 on the list was Rocket League will go free to play. Bang. There we go.
Yeah, that definitely happened. That definitely happened. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, Mike.
It stole my life.
Pretty much.
Definitely know that went free to play.
As for the rest of us, Q agreed on that. Well, you and Zach disagreed, so points for us.
Yeah, and it wasn't that I didn't think it would go free to play. I just didn't think it would do it this year. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
But to be fair, like you made the point, and I think it's absolutely right. It probably benefited them more going free to play when they didn't have to go free to play yet.
Exactly.
Than to wait until they had to go free to play. So I can't argue with them doing it, and I certainly have been enjoying the hell out of the game. But yeah, I got that one wrong.
All right. So the next one, I said first Perfect World ARPG to go to open beta would be Magic Legends over Torchlight Frontiers. And we've got some debate on this because Mike is like, well, Torchlight Magic Legends. Well, first of all, Magic Legends didn't even go to open beta for one thing, so that's kind of been a little bit.
So that's out.
But Torchlight Frontiers
technically didn't either.
It's actually Torchlight 3. So Torchlight Frontiers didn't exist, but Torchlight 3 did, and it launched and whatever. And no, we're not getting anything on this.
Nope.
Nobody wins.
Q and I agreed with you, and Zach did not.
Agreed. But you had the additional thing that Torchlight Frontiers might not release at all.
Right.
So that's where you're.
Yeah, that's where I contend that, hey, I actually did say this might not release at all, and it did not. It's a wildly different game now. It's not just. I wouldn't argue as much with you, Jason, if they had just changed the title, but it is a very different game now.
See, I wouldn't argue if they just changed. I would argue if they just changed the gameplay.
And still left it Torchlight Frontier.
Yeah.
All right. We're arguing a negative point, so I guess I'll let this one go at this point, and take the L. So what's next?
All right. We will get to play on officially sanctioned City of Heroes servers. Whereas Q and Mike disagreed on the officialness of them, thinking negotiations would continue in perpetuity, while Zach said things would be... Zach agreed, basically.
Yeah,
So,
he said that all the discussions would be settled by then. So Q and I walk away with this one.
Yep. Well, you guys disagreed on the officialness. You said it would still be... I don't know exactly what you said, but that's what I've got listed there.
No,
So
and you can still play on all of those servers that we were talking about at that time that were up and running too. They're just still not official. So I think Q and I get that one. Right?
I think
Right, Q?
Jason's point was that they hadn't mentioned it at all since then, but I think maybe they hadn't mentioned it because they're not official.
I mean, Jason lost on this one, so I think he's just trying to pin a loss on everybody here.
Because there's nothing changed. If you just said disagree altogether, I would say, okay, you win that point. But you've got some additional thing about them being official. So that's why I chalk it up as a loss for everybody.
Oh, man. I feel like we're getting hosed, Q.
It feels a little nitpicky. But I honestly, with all these things, I don't even remember the discussions. So
no, neither do I.
Say I said
not going
anything, and I would know.
That's why we record the show.
Go back to this and make Mike's point. Feel free to. But I was too lazy. All right, next point. No Guild Wars 2 expansion or other major new announcement from ArenaNet. Q and Zach agreed with me on that. Mike was the only one to disagree. And you win this one. Fine.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
win this one. No debate and solo. Yeah. I walk away with that one alone.
And finally, I said the 2020 loot box odds deadline set by the ESA will come and go without any action. Q and Zach agreed with me on that one. Mike disagreed. Yeah. And I think pretty clearly nothing happened on that front, even if there were some other things going on that had to be dealt with, but,
Yeah, I feel like I got a little hosed on this one. Not that I expected tons of action. I don't think any of us did when we had this discussion. But I expected at least token movements in that direction, and I think COVID really just blew this one out of the water for me. It fell down the priority list after it was like, hey, let's keep people employed first.
And alive.
Yeah, and alive. So...
All right.
So where does that put everybody? What was the final scores? You'd already mentioned you won.
By my scoring, that puts me at 2 out of 5, and me, Zach, and Q at 2 out of 5, and Mike at 1 out of 5.
I feel like we should fight for the NCSoft one, because then that will give you the win at 3 out of 5, and it'll put me tied with everybody else.
I have to be the least competitive person here.
Man,
I feel like I got hosed here.
I'll maybe go back and look at the video and see exactly how it was stated. So
yeah, I honestly don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember what I said. He could have said I said anything, and I just be like, all right, I said that.
We asked you about
Jason
Magic the Gathering or Magic the Gathering Legends or Magic Legends and Torchlight, and she said kitty cats. Her prediction was wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know what you think in the comments below there. But more importantly, let's get to 2021's predictions. We've got 5 of them. Again, if you want to watch this in video form, go ahead. Right on the website or the YouTube. But go ahead, Jason, kick us off. What's the first 2021 prediction?
So keeping in tradition with what I said last year about Rocket League going free to play, and the fact that Destiny 2 went free to play before that, both pretty solid games doing well that didn't really need to go free to play. My prediction this year is for Among Us to go free to play on all platforms. It's already free on mobile, of course.
Yeah, it's just like whatever, $3 or $5 to get rid of the ads.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, it's only at $5. So not a big change for it to go down to free. But they do have an Xbox launch coming up soon. I think they want to cash in on that, get what they can out of it. And then later in the year, they will go ahead and transition it all over to free to play everywhere. So that is my prediction for this year. What do you
think? Among Us going free to play on all platforms.
It's like what, $5?
Yeah,
on mobile, yeah.
Well,
Or
no,
on every if you do the
because I'm pretty sure we paid $5 to get it on Steam, and I don't really know the value because the reason it's free on mobile, right, is because they have ads.
Yes.
And the reason it's not free everywhere else is because we're paying to not have ads. So I kind of feel like it would be counterintuitive for them to go free to play. Now, the whole, getting the whole weekend deal of getting it for free and keeping it forever, sure. But it seems almost silly to switch from that, because then they are, losing revenue, unless they're planning on injecting ads into their PC and console versions to encourage people to buy it.
All they need is a bigger cash shop. Just throw in more hats or whatever.
Oh, they do have the
Whatever.
pet pack? It's a pet pack, yeah. Things like that, but I don't know. I feel like $5, and it's just kind of like a sweet spot for it. It's not bad to spend $5 on that game, as much enjoyment as you get out of it. So
Q disagrees.
I'm going to disagree too.
Okay.
Only because I think it follows more in like the Black Desert Online rationale for it not being free to play. It's so cheap that they don't really need to make it free to play. And the way the cash shop works in Among Us, it's not even really a cash shop, right? There's a couple DLC packs, like you mentioned, the pet packs and cosmetic things, but you can't go in and buy cosmetics. And I think adding that actually bloats the game more than would help the game financially. So I'm going to disagree, thinking that maybe it goes from $5 to $3 or $5 to $2, but I don't think they actually hit the free-to-play target. I think that's going to be reserved for when the furor dies down over the move.
Oh, I think that might happen at some point.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen enough.
But I'm still putting you down as disagree, not when the furor dies down.
No, I disagree. No.
Right, good.
This is absolutely just a disagree one.
All right.
What's next?
Number 2, Hyperscape. It ain't going to live past this year. It's doing poorly. It had a nice launch. It got a lot of hype when Ubisoft brought it out. They tried to get all the Twitch streamers on board and whatever. And it's just collapsed ever since. They've been trying to do different things. They're practically giving away money to play the game practically.
Yeah.
So I think this is one that just flopped. And I think it's just not going to survive 2021.
Ubisoft's Hyperscape not making it out of 2021. I want to agree with you. There isn't anything that you say that I debate or argue or disagree with. Like, I feel like it is absolutely dead game. The only thing maybe kind of leaning me towards no is the fact that Ubisoft probably doesn't want the look right now of a game shutting down. They would rather maybe it just quietly not have anything happen to it. And I'm assuming here by won't survive, you're talking about full shutdown. Not like a maintenance mode or a, hey, we're going to leave it up, but no more updates. Like, if it's up, it's up. And if it's gone, you predict it's gone, right?
Correct. You cannot play it next year.
Okay, I'm gonna disagree then. Not that I think it's going to thrive, succeed, come back, or anything, but I think when we get to December, there will at least still be some type of maintenance mode going, if not still content. So I think you'll be able to play this throughout the year.
You know what you can do too is just like I did with Fortnite a little while ago, on like 11:30 p.m. on December 31st. You can tweet me, say, "Hey, Hyperscape's still around. It could shut down in the next half hour. You'll be right."
Right. I think this one will still be playable at the end of the year. It may still be playable in the exact same form it is right now due to a maintenance mode, but I don't think it'll go away. Q.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with Mike on this one. I mean, if they just leave it in maintenance mode, it's not costing them that much to let it sit there, but at least it doesn't look like, well, we put out this thing and it just didn't last. So
Q, if you're going to come with me on these things, and you better be prepared next year to fight with me when we've got the same answer.
All right.
What's next, Jason?
Okay, next is going to be a 3-parter. So, granted, when the scoring happens at the start of next year, it'll probably be divided into thirds for each point.
Yeah, we did that 2 years ago. There was a couple that we were like 50% credits on.
So, to have games, last one was about games shutting down. This one I'm going to make about games shutting up. What do you call it?
Wait.
Launch?
Launching?
Launching, yeah, okay, whatever. And by launch, of course, we mean the usual, in terms of a free-to-play game, but either launches or it's an open beta, free for everyone, or basically you can play it anyone can play it for free. You don't need an early access pack, special permission, whatever. You can just log in, get it any way you want. So that's
it's okay if it's in early access or open beta as long as it's free. There's no $10 or $100 barrier or whatever.
And no, you have to sign up for the beta or whatever. As long as you can just get on and play, just like that. So my 3 games that I've got for this are Path of Exile 2, Lost Ark, and Riot's Project L. Path of Exile 2, I think they want to really, after how slow and how, you look at what Path of Exile had, especially with the last expansion, having to delay that, and the fact they didn't, well, they weren't predicting doing ExileCon anyway because they didn't have anything big to announce, but I think they don't want to go more than 2 years without that if they can. So I think that's going to be a focus if they can manage something like that late in the year. Lost Ark, I think, is just like imminent. Zach, of course, wants it to be out yesterday.
Right.
So I think that's come along well enough, and it's got Amazon behind it now, probably. So that's going to launch as well. And then Project L, I just kind of threw out there as sort of a Hail Mary kind of guess. Seeing as how quickly Riot got Legends of Runeterra and Valorant out last year, I think they're going to motor Project
And Wild
L,
Rift, how fast
game.
that's coming.
Yeah, well, it's a port, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, based on how quickly they've done that sort of thing, I think they are going to go ahead and get Project L, which is their League of Legends based fighting game, at least into the hands of people in, like you said, early access, open beta kind of mode. So,
well, there is news on 2 of these actually. If you want to check out MMOBomb.com on 2 of these topics, I should say, Path of Exile is not Path of Exile 2, but there is a new expansion. Details just went up yesterday. Jason put together a whole piece on that. If you're looking for Path of Exile expansion information, the expansion that was delayed out of December, all that information's up. And it doesn't relate to Project L, but this morning Riot Games, I think we should mention, did have their Here's Our 2021 Plans presentation. Not a lot as far as the stuff we wanted to hear about, like Project L and things like that, but if you play League of Legends, Legends of Runeterra, Wild Rift, if you're playing anything that's already active, there was usually some season stuff, some changes, some new heroes, so go check that piece out as well. Just want to plug those 2 pieces since we're not going to be talking about them in depth because they're not incredibly interesting topics to talk about, but want to make sure you free-to-play gamers are aware and can check those articles out. So, Q, what do you think? Path of Exile 2, Lost Ark, Riot's Project L. You can take them one at a time. Do they launch this year?
I'm thinking Path of Exile 2 and Lost Ark, yes. Just because we've seen kind of enough of them. I honestly pay very little attention to what's going on with Riot Games stuff, and also keeping track of which of their League of Legends related spin-offs are free to play versus which ones are not. Like, I am sitting here looking at Project
This
L
will
going,
count
"Wait,
even
is
if the
this a
game
free-to-play
launches
one?"
with a different name. It isn't called free. It isn't free to play. I'm still
Yeah,
counting these, okay?
because it's not going to launch as Project L, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously it's going to have a different name, but even if it's a paid game, even if they call it
that still
League
counts.
of whatever the frick, still counts.
I haven't been paying enough attention to that to even wager a guess as to whether or not it'll launch. I mean, I'm going to assume that Riot probably takes a little bit of like how Blizzard does their stuff. They're far enough along to warrant actually saying they have, a game, so that you're not waiting 10 years for it to come out, kind of thing. But I don't know what their development cycle on that is.
So is that a yes or a no? Does it or does it launch?
And I don't know.
No, sorry.
No, because
I mean, if it's an I don't know, it's pretty much no.
Just to be clear, too, this is also a North American launch, like where I am.
So what were yours, Q? Path of Exile 2?
The first 2, yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
The last one, no, because it doesn't even have a real name yet.
All right, Jason, you're recording all this, right?
I'm keeping track of it all, yep.
All right. I'm going to go with a definite yes on Lost Ark. I think that could literally fall any day now, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
I'm going to go no with Project L. Yes, Riot has pumped out some things rather quickly here, but I think Valorant was in production a lot longer than we knew about, and I don't think Legends of Runeterra was all that complicated a project for them to get out the door. I think they're going to put a little more love and attention and caution in Project L, because that's one that could make them look really stupid if it comes out and it doesn't compete with the current fighting platforms. So I'm going to go no on Project L, yes on Lost Ark, and I think I'm going to go no on Path of Exile 2.
Okay.
Not because I think the delay of this most recent expansion might play into this a little more, than anything. But if they do an ExileCon, that's typically like, if I remember right, that's typically like in November-ish. Yep. And I don't think they're going to be going into Exile. I think they would certainly talk about Path of Exile 2 there and maybe give a launch date for it or an open beta date for it at ExileCon. But I don't think that date would fall in the next month after ExileCon, particularly with holidays. So I'm going to go no, but I think Path of Exile 2 will just kind of creep into the beginning portion of 2022. It's not going to be all that removed from 2021, but since it's removed at all, no on this one.
Okay. All
right. 2 more. What do we got?
Now no new games, mostly from basically from Daybreak. I think Daybreak is going to just kind of sit out the year because they're still consolidating with everything they got, where they just got purchased and so forth. And United Global 7 is going to just sort of see what they've got with the company, work behind the scenes on whatever they're planning, whether it's that new Marvel game or whatever they're planning for EverQuest or Lord of the Rings Online or whatever. So I think it's going to be a pretty quiet year for Daybreak, and they're not going to really make any major waves. No major new game announcements is my prediction.
See, now Jason always puts adjectives in these things so that we end up debating them later. Like I have a feeling the word major is going to be a sticking point when we review this next year. Because I do think, like, even if they do something on the mobile front with their Marvel license, right, that is still from them a major launch. Although in the ultimate sphere of gaming, that is not a major game launch. So
no, if it's a game launch of any kind, basically. Not. Okay. But if it was like if it was Mobile Planet side, I would say no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's what that's your distinction.
Brand new game.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think Q, you went first on the last one, so I'll go first this one. I think you're wrong. I think we get an announcement from them. I don't think it's going to be like the announcement we all want, right? Like some type of experience or something like that. But I do think they're going to launch something that isn't, a mobile companion app to PlanetSide or, an H1Z1 new server.
H1Z1 for the third time.
For the third or fourth time. Right. I think we're going to get something. I think it's probably going to be under that Marvel license. Again, I don't think it's going to be something all of us are going to be all that excited about, and it's probably more on the mobile side than anything. But I think they launched something.
When is the last time Daybreak announced something we were excited about?
Right.
PlanetSide Arena? No, nobody wants that. No.
Go ahead, Q.
I was honestly going to say I expect them to launch something like I expect Tryon to launch things, but I forgot about the Marvel license.
You also forgot about Tryon not being a company anymore.
Right. No, I didn't forget that, but they still do use, like, Gamigo still uses the Tryon name. Mm-hmm. Like, it's still in all their
which
URLs,
is really weird because
stuff.
As far as I know, they didn't buy that. They bought the assets of the company. I don't think they bought the LLC.
And remember, legally, they tried to argue in court that Tryon no longer exists, so you can't sue them.
Yeah, but if you're right, in the URLs, it's still Tryon Worlds is in there.
Right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Still sitting there as Tryon. But anyway, I don't know. The Marvel thing is the catch-all, but I'm gonna go with no. I think, especially since this year has just been, bad for production on things anyway. So
you're saying no, as in you agree with me that there won't be anything new.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
All right, and our last one is probably the one that's going to cause the most debate at the end of the year. But I think, Jason, you're already prepped for that because this is a little bit subjective to begin with. But go ahead.
I wrote it as 2021 will have a surprise free-to-play hit that we've almost never heard of. And I use the examples of games like Among Us, Fall Guys, Phasmophobia, Genshin Impact, games that just really came out of nowhere to really have a huge impact in the gaming world. Now, Genshin Impact was the only one that was free to play, so that one sort of would have qualified for this last year. Because going into 2020, we didn't really even know. For the most part, I think most people didn't really even know Genshin Impact existed or was in production. Then it comes out, makes whatever $500 million or whatever.
Right.
Huge game, just absolutely nothing that was expected. So I think that's going to be a bit more of a common thing going forward, whether it is games like in the free-to-play world or otherwise. But I predict that we're going to have one game like that is basically unknown now, but will be on everyone's lips come the end of 2021.
Yeah, and
it's
by
going
the
to
way,
be debated.
to be clear, I
agree.
don't think any of us thought like Genshin Impact was going to crash and burn or anything. That's not it at all. It's just
No.
we thought, hey, looks nice. If it plays well, there will be an audience for that. Holy shit, it made $500 million, $250 million
Yeah.
in a month. It's not like we thought, oh, that's trash. It's okay, that'll have an audience if it plays well.
See, we expected to be more. We didn't expect it would be Hyperscape.
Right, right. Q, what do you think? 2021 will have a surprise free-to-play hit that we've almost never heard of.
I mean, it's definitely possible because this already proves it. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. Something. It's entirely possible something can sneak up on us. So, sure, why not?
I'm gonna go
We're not paying
no.
attention to anything. So yeah.
I'm gonna go no. Only because I don't think there's too many surprises in development right now, given how 2021 went. I don't think there's too many sneaky things hidden behind the scenes that we may have heard a little bit about. I think what is it? Grand Saga? I think that's going to crash and burn. I'm really not liking where that's headed. I think what is it? Blue Odyssey? Is that what it is?
Oh yeah.
Is that the name?
Is that what it's called? Something like that, yeah.
Blue Protocol.
Blue Protocol. Okay.
Protocol.
I was like,
to me, that one doesn't count as a surprise, I think, because if it does really well, I would not be surprised by that. I would actually be surprised if it crashed and burned. I think it's going to do moderately well to successful.
Maybe the definition of surprise hit should be something we haven't covered yet on the site. Because we didn't start writing about Genshin until like January of last year. So maybe that's the we'll see.
I'm going to go with no. I don't think there's anything that's going to shock and just like, where the hell did that free-to-play game come from for me? I think COVID is going to bolster the fact that if there was anything like that in development, it probably won't come out in 2021. So, yeah, Bandai usually releases good stuff. I expect Blue Protocol to be pretty good, even if it's not everybody's cup of tea. But I don't expect it to be a mega hit, and it certainly isn't one that I would be surprised if for some reason it did become a mega hit. So I'll fight that one if I have to at the end of the year. I'll go with no.
Already getting ready for the argument. So Mike agreed with me that Lost Ark would launch.
Yeah.
And disagreed on everything else.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Yes, you exactly did. Yes, you exactly. I've got it written right here. You don't think Among Us will go free to play. You think Hyperscape will survive. You don't think Path of Exile 2 or Project L will come out.
Some of these are just barely, though. Like on Hyperscape, there isn't a single thing I disagree with your argument. I just think they would maintenance mode it first. Like that is barely disagreeing with you.
It survives or it doesn't. That's binary. There's no barely.
All right, those are our predictions for 2021. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. It actually helps us a lot if you comment on Jason's article for this or on Jason's video for this. It makes it a lot easier next year. And
just to remind everyone, too, because we don't get this as much, put in your actual predictions, not necessarily the yes or no's on what I predicted. Put out your stuff there so we can judge you next year as well. And you can look smart.
If you've got something that didn't make our top 5, if you got a totally different prediction, put it there. And it does help us if you put it on Jason's article or on the video right on mmobomb.com. It does make it a little easier a year from now and us collating that information rather than trying to jump to the free-to-play cast and grab the notes from there so that we can make fun of you while you make fun of us. Now, speaking of...
I just want everyone to know that Jason just wants to judge people.
Absolutely.
That's really what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
I am lawful neutral.
Now, speaking of new titles in 2021, we do have some on the way and some that already just barely made it launched in 2020, but we'll cover those here. So first up, we have Gaijin Entertainment announcing a post-apocalyptic MMO, Age of Water. This is by Gaijin, if you know them from Crossout or from War Thunder. So as far as I've always been concerned, Jason, they have a decent pedigree. Whether or not you like some of the monetization things they do is different, but I don't think there's ever been a real issue with the overall quality of games. This kind of came out of nowhere. I would not have guessed Gaijin Entertainment to have been making an MMO. I would have thought, if anything, that they would have made like their version of World of Warships, if anything else. But I guess War Thunder kind of covers the whole gamut here. So what do you think of this news?
I mean, first of all, I didn't know that's really an MMO in the straight sort of like RPG travel around thing. I think it's going to be more, like I said, I call it basically like cross out on water.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more like that. It's going to be more instance battles. It does talk about traveling between, taking control of a motorboat and travel between settlements, fighting pirates, excavating the remnants of lost civilizations. I guess it could have more of like a Sea of Thieves kind of feel to it, I guess, something like that. But yeah, I mean, if they allow the customization, same sort of thing they have in Crossout, and assuming that the progression isn't such a horrible grind like it is in that game, it could be something I'd be interested in.
Q, chat's already comparing it to the movie Waterworld, which means
actually that's the funny part is I was sitting here looking at it going, it looks like Waterworld,
which means it's dead on arrival.
I'm weird. Like, I actually kind of enjoyed the movie, but I also sat and watched the 9-minute long credits that were like 5 rows across because that's how many people it took to build that thing.
I actually didn't think the movie was all that terrible either. Like,
I liked it.
I don't
from
say that to
production.
many people, but
no, I'm fine. I don't care if people think I like weird movies. Like, I enjoyed it. I haven't watched it since the 90s, but I did enjoy it.
You can sign up for alpha on the website if you want to. And it'll be available via PC on the Gaijin.net platform. No Steam, though. At least not yet. We're not seeing anything there. But, the CEO of Gaijin Entertainment isn't exactly friendly with Valve. So I don't think it's really a surprise to anybody that it's not going to be on Steam. Or at least doesn't seem like it's going to be on Steam. So keep an eye on it. If you want to sign up for alpha, you certainly can. Now, next one is not really my cup of tea, but damn if it doesn't make some whoops, I did not mean to turn off Q's camera there. If it doesn't make some serious money in other parts of the world, Nexon has announced 2 new games, technically, based on the Dungeon and Fighter or Dungeon N Fighter or DNF, however you refer to it, that franchise. Getting a DNF duel game, and some other things along the way here too. Have either of you really spent any time in Dungeon Fighter?
None.
Why isn't this playing? Play.
There
you go. Play. Awesome.
But no, that's not something that's. I read about it every time we do the Nexon financial reports, and it's always huge in like China, but I don't think they even have a local version, do they? In America?
No. They used to, but no.
Okay.
We don't know a ton about this one or either of these yet, because we know about this one and we know about talk about terrible names here. Project BBQ.
Yeah.
I'm sure the name on that is going to change, but
that's the Dungeon Fighter Online 3D version being developed by the same company here. We don't know a lot about either of these, but if you are a fan of DFO, DNF, whatever the hell you want to call it in your area, maybe something to watch for. Nexon has announced both, but we don't even know if they're going to be free to play. We're just going under the assumption that they probably will be because it's Nexon and it's Dungeon Fighter.
We talk about this all the time, that what's going to be the next big thing in gaming. And granted, it's been around for a while, but there's really no good like free-to-play fighting games out there. Not a whole lot. Nothing that's been a really huge deal. Between this and Project L, maybe that could be the next. If one of those is a hit, just watch for a ton of them to just come out, just like that.
Killer Instinct tried, remember?
A lot of them have tried.
Yeah, they tried to.
I'm not saying there's nothing out there, but nothing that's really.
But that got caught in a bad development cycle going between multiple companies.
Yeah,
and everything.
It was crappy free to play. They had one character available.
Yeah, but they rotated. I mean, it got better. It was horrible at launch, but the way it was, that had a lot to do with the way they communicated it first. Anyway, Yeah, but I think you're going to have to wait till 2022 for Project Hell. So let's
Just wait for you to walk that back next year.
walk it back. What else do we got? Blade and Soul 2. We got some more info on that. It's announced it will release in 2021, but apparently, yeah, it's still mobile. And that was the plan for a while. We hoped it would change, but it's still mobile.
Well, although the thing about mobile games is, right, they can be mobile for a while and then suddenly they end up on Steam. So it's people shouldn't just lose hope if they're looking forward to playing this, but really don't want to do it on their phones. It's probably just going to be a while, but sooner or later they'll be like, we can make money off Steam.
That's typically what happens. Yeah. I mean, we don't know when. It's just 2021 and they say coming soon. I don't know. Well, we're still waiting for the Unreal update in the original Blade and Soul. And I tried streaming that I did like 2 or 3 different streams of it last week, and the performance of that game is fucking awful, which is so sad because there are really good aspects of that game that I would really like to explore more, but the game just performs like shit.
I think I played like, I don't know, a half an hour to 2 hours of Blade and Soul for something, and then I logged out, and then I went to log back into play, and I could never get it to run again.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. We're still waiting for that. I'd rather see that the Unreal upgrade to Blade and Soul, so I could actually play it without going, why does this look like it's stuttering all the time? Anyway, we finished out 2020 with 2 new games from R2. And I only mention this because they launched. There's games launched, and that's the topic. And I did want to mention something about R2 here. R2 was a company that I actually had a lot of interest in years and years ago. Do you remember City of Steam, guys?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like a very steampunky, in-depth MMO built for browser and everything. I remember
covering that for my magazine.
Yeah, I remember doing press stuff with them, like walkthroughs and videos and stuff, and being very impressed by the tech that they were putting into the browser functionality of the game and how well it was working and running.
That was R2?
It was published R2 for a while. What was the team's name? I can't remember the development team. But I was working for MMO Bomb at the time. Mechanist was the developer. Mechanist Games. But R2 had picked them up, or picked the publishing rights up after a little while. And so I always thought like R2 is a decent gaming company. Now they're like launching a new title every fucking week. And it's I mean, if you like browser games and looking for small things here and there, maybe these are for you. They launched Eco City, which is kind of a mix of a farm and a city sim. And then Lords of the Arena, which is an idle online strategy game. Both of those are available via R2 Games. But, yeah, whatever. I just remember having like a little bit of respect for R2 Games because they saw like what Mechanist was doing with City of Steam and wanted to be part of the publishing and making sure that got distributed. I probably still have the emails, but now it's just like I look at everything they put out and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, I don't think any of you have either good things to say. Moving on. Let's finish up with some weird news, and then we'll get to the bombs here. Yuzu Games CEO died at the end of December, and normally that wouldn't be in news of the weird, but apparently, Jason, it's from suspected poisoning.
Yeah. Yuzu is the company that makes Game of Thrones Winter is Coming, if you've seen ads for that recently, and also League of Angels, which is all over the place. Click here, my lord. But yeah, the 39-year-old founder and CEO of Yuzu Games, Lin Chi, passed away on Christmas Day, and police are investigating it as a possible poisoning case, thinking that one of his co-workers, another 39-year-old male, surnamed Zhu, is being detained as a suspect. So he went to the hospital on like December 16th and passed away about a week later. So really weird. You don't often hear about that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you certainly
outside of Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
like
you
the
certainly
books.
don't hear about it like in the world of gaming. It's like, maybe politics.
You hear about it as part of a game, but
yeah, maybe in like the
necessarily.
political realm, but what? This is nuts. On the good side of weird news, Richard Garriott apparently smuggled James Doohan's ashes onto the International Space Station when he was up there in 2008, and only now is talking about it, figuring that NASA probably isn't going to care now that it's 13 years later.
The government's got other crap to worry about right now.
Yeah. So
what was funny about this story was when I was reading it, I was like, didn't I already know about that? But no, it was the whole SpaceX part where
where they publicly took his ashes there. For those of you that don't know, we're talking about Scotty from Star Trek.
And for those who don't know, Richard Garriott used to make video games.
Yeah, for that, I guess. Yeah, I guess that too. So family thought it was cool. His ashes were at the International Space Station. Now, here's the thing that he says he like smuggled them into put it under the floor of the Columbus. They found those. Like, come on. That is the space station. Like, the living quarters of the space station is the size of like a large closet. Like, there's no hidden areas. It may have been hidden for a day or two, but somebody found it. But it's nice to think that they're still up there. Q Phantasy Star Online 2 got a little web comic that's up, right? People can go check that out now.
Yeah, if you want to, it's on the game's official site. It's a little weird.
Hence it being in the news of the weird segment.
Well, I read through it because I was like, oh, so a webcomic, additional content, story content, or whatever to give you a little more. No, it's like this meta thing where it's the characters, but it's not the characters talking. It's like the character player talk. It's like like the player actually talking or whatever, and they're just like. At one point, they make a joke about how the other character is probably like some old dude playing the girl characters because they want to make them have bigger boobs. Like, very weird content. It does, however, have a code you can put in to get some stuff at the Visiphone, so there's that.
Make sure you head on over to mmobomb.com so you can get that code. And if the comic ends up being your type of thing, they will be releasing more and have codes on them. We're not going to publish the codes from every single one because, honestly, I looked at it, and even as a PSO fan, I was like, yeah, I could go without this. I could go without this comic series. Let's slide over to the weekly bombs. Jason, why don't you start us off, sir, with your weekly bomb?
Okay, so do you remember a few months ago when I showed that video on my phone of my nephew doing his little thing?
Yeah.
That little skill shot thing. Okay, so when I visited him and the rest of my family last year, which was before everything else happened, he actually let me try on his VR headset, and I played around with some stuff, and he was just crazy about how awesome it was, and I'm just like. Yeah,
we've been playing a lot of Oculus Quest 2 here. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Throw on my fishing rod, and it's like got the 8-bit fish that I'm catching or whatever. I'm just like, this is not amazing. Yet everyone who is into VR is like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing. It's so awesome. It's going to be huge. So
it's fun. Beat Saber's
yeah,
awesome.
Okay. No, you don't. Maybe you don't. But a lot of people are like, this is just the greatest thing ever. It's going to be enormous. So we get the 2020 year in review from Superdata this week. VR software, VR game revenue in 2020 totaled $589 million.
That's a lot of money.
That does seem like a lot of money.
For an industry that a year and a half ago wasn't there.
Oh, it's been around for years. They've been it's been around.
It was there, but it wasn't
It was
there.
Fringe for most of the there you're talking about.
I've been hearing VR is the next big thing for like at least 4 years. So whatever. But last year, by the way, it was 471 million. This year, 589.
Okay, now I think that's the more important stat. Only growing 100 million in that year. That is,
well,
I think,
it's
the more
20%. You
impending
could say
stuff.
that, whatever. But then I look at let's look at individual games. The top premium title they list was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which brought in nearly $2 billion. That is one game that made about 3 times as much as the entire industry of VR. And you can go down the list to other games.
You're
Cyberpunk
such a
made $600
grump.
million in like 2 months.
You're such a
what else?
grump.
I just want to tell everyone who says VR is going to be huge this year. No, this is the year it's going to break out. It's going to be mainstream. Everyone's going to love it. No, it's not. It's going to be at least 20 or 30 years. We're going to go through multiple generations of this crap before it even has any chance of going anywhere. So stop with your. This is the year for VR.
So
I just looked up Half-Life
You are
Alex.
so grumpy.
I just looked up Half-Life Alex. That sold 2 million copies, which is nice, which is very good. It's a $60 game. That's like 120 million. That alone accounted for like a quarter of that money that it made in the year.
so angry.
I mean, the problem with VR though is that you still have to, the barrier to entry of actually buying the devices.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, where all the other games you mentioned, you already have a PC or a console or whatever. It's the barrier to entry of buying the device. Now, you do have with the Oculus 2, the whole thing of people not necessarily wanting to tie their Facebook account into it, and you have to.
Yep.
So that's one.
So there you go. If you just don't require VR headsets, they'll be fine. Oh, wait, hang on. That's kind of the whole damn point.
I'm going to give an A-bomb to Crimson Desert not being an MMO, as we've learned more about that. It's going to be more in the single-player RPG arena than MMO. I know we already knew this part, but also I'm just going to toss an A-bomb out there to it not being free-to-play. So, yeah, kind of brought my anticipation of that title down a little bit. Go ahead, Q.
All right, well, since they're both being negative, and it's been a really negative week, I have 2 bombs. One for Sea Shanty TikTok, which is I'm so glad whoever started posting that on Twitter, because I don't actually use TikTok, started doing it, because it's fantastic.
While you have sea shanties running through your head.
Oh,
yeah, that's why I have sea shanties running through my head, because like one guy does a sea shanty and then all these other guys are just building on it to add, all the different parts and everything. So it's like a series of TikToks based off of one, but it's great. And today we start getting the bunny sealies in Genshin Impact. So I'm super excited about bunny sealies.
Very, very, very cool. They are very cute. They are very,
they're
cute.
adorable.
Are they like rappies? Can you eat them?
No.
No.
Oh.
Don't eat rappies. Stop it.
Yeah, you do.
No, now they breathe
Paimon.
Fire. They breathe fire.
You eat Paimon.
Well, then you can cook one with the other.
Make sure you
guys barbecue right there.
If you're looking for stuff in free games, the Sealies you'll have to earn via an event. But if you ever want to get just some free stuff in games, head on over to gamerpower.com, our sister site. Create an account there. Get notified for any free stuff in free games, free stuff in buy-to-play games, and hell, sometimes just free games in general. Site will never cost you a dime. There is no option for like a premium membership or anything like that. You go through, log in your favorites, and get free shit. We'd really appreciate it if you go check it out. It's our sister site, gamerpower.com. Link for it is in the description below. From the viewers in chat, Jay said, "Da-bomb to a year where we hope it won't be like 2020, praying to all the gaming gods." Ninja Panda chimes in, says, "I'm giving an A-bomb to my PC for breaking, but now upgrading, just need to pick it up. But thanks for it breaking, missed a lot of PSO2 and other stuff. PS challenge accepted." So we can expect some predictions from Ninja Panda. From the viewers, Raggerty, LOL, today on the free-to-play Boomercast, Jason struggles with audio and talks about old anti-drug commercials on our last show of the year.
I hate to tell you all this. He's Gen X, guys. Not
yeah, I said I came out in the 70s. All right, Silkabeck says, "I like the new video playback capabilities. It's really nice. Happy holidays and Happy New Year to the crew."
Well, thank you, Sokapex. We hope you all had a wonderful New Year, too. Go ahead, Q.
Ivala Stefanov, they laugh, but how many times I rolled the volume is just too many.
I actually had to reply to that one saying, yeah, I've done what Jason did too, rolling the volume. But normally, the first or maybe second thing I check is, did I unplug it? And did I roll the volume or mute button?
The problem is not even roll. It's like a little button here that's like I have to click it.
Slayer Master PWI says, A-bomb to the higher-ups at CD Projekt Red. They really botched it when it came to Cyberpunk. I'm playing on the base PS4 and having fun with the game. I'm able to deal with the performance issues because I grew up with a single mom and a sister, so high-end tech was out of the question. When I got my first laptop in my teenage years, I was playing Perfect World International on a 1.7 gigahertz Celeron with an Intel GMA 945. My frame rate was in the mid-20s for the 4 years I played it. But just because I can cope with it doesn't mean it's okay for them to release it in the state it was in. We'll be talking a lot about that on Gaming Gumbo Saturday, because that story is the story that just keeps on giving, Jason.
All right. TCal 2399 says, A-bomb to CDPR for being the gaming manifestation of the year 2020. I would call him a dumpster fire, but at least dumpster fires give the benefit of heat and light. Wow. I mean, technically, if you run Cyberpunk in your machine, it might set your computer on fire. So there you go. CDPR, like the most of 2020, had no redeeming qualities. Question. Quote of.
I think it's question of the for the question of the week.
Okay.
Which we're gonna roll into in a second.
W, not H.
Yeah.
Come on, TCal, do better. I bought myself a 3090. Well, I don't have one yet because there seems to be none left on Earth. I did put about $1,500 away from when they're actually in stock.
And that was the question of the week. What was the best holiday gaming gift you gave, received, or hell, just even bought yourself this year?
H isn't even close to W on the keyboard. How did you... Anyway.
Giving answers. I love this name. Lover of Monster Girls. That's such a great name. My best Christmas is this Christmas. I finally got a new gaming computer and monitor after using the same computer for around 20 years. Well, it's going to be nice for you to not actually have to make computer upgrades every year or two now. So you get a couple years off. Congratulations on the new rig. Go ahead, Jason.
Yamikami says, my December Christmas present for myself. So, remember when I told you that my little cat died?
Yeah.
And do you remember that I really like Monster Hunter World? So the problem I have now is I often play this game with my cat on my lap. It's written coat, but I'm going to assume that meant cat. Sometimes he made it... They can't edit it now, Mike. It's too late. Sometimes he made it impossible to play properly. But he was so cute doing so. Anyways, I can't play this game right now because it reminds me of him every time. Or TLDR too soon. So I got myself a happy, cheery, funny game to lighten up the mood, and my game of choice is Dark Souls 3, of course.
I think we need to discuss this.
You need help there, Yamikami. With the help of a friend, I played through the game and I'm now experiencing it alone for a bit. Experiencing means dying a lot, by the way. I'm thinking about getting the game outward, though. It is a good game for what it is. I only got no one to play with, sadly. Any volunteers, maybe?
Any viewers? Give Yamikami a reply. Let him know if you want to jump in. Go ahead, Q.
The house always wins. As for the question of the week, my December Christmas present for myself was Cyberpunk 2077. Amazingly, my 7-year-old system seems to not be having any issues playing the game. There have been a few bugs that have been more goofy than game breaking, so I'm still having a good time. I'm hoping all these bugs and issues will be fixed soon so that everyone can enjoy what seems to be a fantastic game under all the technical hiccups. Fallout New Vegas was riddled with bugs at release, but it turned out in the end to be one of my favorite games of all time. Hopefully, Cyberpunk 2077 will be the same.
Q, you're still enjoying the hell out of the game too.
I did take a break because holidays and then Genshin Impact has been like events. But other than that, yes, I'm still enjoying the game.
Slayer Master PWI, question of the week. I bought myself 4 less teeth. Got my wisdom teeth. I just had to let that sit for a second because that's actually a sentence that somebody wrote and I said out loud. Got my wisdom teeth removed at the age of 28 on the release date for Cyberpunk. I'm feeling a lot better now. If anyone is as nervous about it as I was, it's honestly not that bad. The worst part is not being able to eat anything due to having to bite down on gauze for 4 hours afterwards. Hydrocodone will be your new best friend.
The good stuff.
Yeah. See, what you should have done, though, is you should have gotten them removed and then made a teeth cyberpunk necklace. So, that is somebody awesomely prepared to play some cyberpunk. They were like, can we take teeth out and make necklaces for me?
Not if it was like mine, where they had to actually break up the tooth, I think, inside there.
It's just here's a necklace of dust, of white teeth dust. Question of the week this week. We talked about it in our predictions, maybe a hidden gem showing up sometime this year. But I want to know, what is your most anticipated title that you think will come out this year? Is it Lost Ark, like we talked about earlier? Is it New World? The game does not have to be free to play or not, or even an MMO. Any game. What is your most anticipated title that you for sure think is coming out this year? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you leave your weekly bombs, bomb for something good, bomb for something bad in the world of gaming, or your questions for the panel, which we'll bring to next week's show. Until then, Q, where can everybody find you?
Hanging out on Twitter at Quitland.
Jason.
I'm on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/Jason Winter, and I will be on tonight, Windshark. I promise.
Competing with my stream. My name's Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there at magicman1, but more importantly, follow at MMOBomb so you get tweets about all the latest news, articles, videos, giveaways, and so much more. Until next week, stay safe. See you on the servers.